Hey guys, just hit start. I'm just having a relaxed conversation here with a friend of mine, Matthew Patti, and yeah, just talking about stuff. So we just thought rather than doing like a more interview style, we'll just have a conversation. So I'm just gonna forget the cameras on, and we're just talking about how we ended up in California, and the whole story. This is the thing, like we had a feeling, the intuition was to come over here, and yeah, another friend is here at the same time. And then another friend that I did a session on in Brisbane a while ago, an energy session that I like to do with people.
Mm-hmm.
When I leave people, I go, I'll see you soon. Like with you, man, I'll go at the end of this conversation, I'll see you soon. And somehow like a pod of dolphins, that's what I feel the M55 program is. It's kind of like we're all like swimming around like a pod of dolphins, and we find one another and we just look, we're like, yep. And
that's it.
like when you guys walked in, my whole head just turned when we were in Melbourne.
Yeah.
I was like, who are these guys?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's interesting. So we've come over here. Our friend Nick, I think you might have met Nick in Melbourne, Nick Pigeon.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
She's beautiful. We just caught up with her. She's got a whole house set up with some friends over here. And,
fantastic.
Yeah. And in regards to the place that we found, man, I got to be honest, we came over here and it was a struggle. Like it was so effortless. Like we're bumping into people and it was really cool. One of our friends, Navin, had told us about his friend Crosby Taylor, who's a big health expert, real good buddies with Dave Asprey from the Bulletproof movement.
Yeah, yeah.
Bulletproof coffee and everything. And we're bumping into him. We're just in the zone with everything. And then 2.5 hours on Expedia trying to book a hotel because, we had to find a place. We just thought we'd freestyle it. And initially we were just going to stay with Nick, but we wanted to make sure we had like a real comfortable big sleep for that first night.
Yeah.
And 2.5 hours on the phone to Expedia, and they kept charging my card and saying that it's not working, and then they charge it again and say it's not working. It was pretty funny actually.
Oh goodness, yeah.
And then all my cards actually basically stopped working, and I was trying to like transfer funds between them all and just do all the different things to get another card to work. And there's that bit of a delay, but then we booked into this dodgy Airbnb, which is pretty horrible. But we met some really great people there, and they took us surfing and. I had a great time. Christy got to the point one day where she was just over it. I'm like, baby, something awesome just about to happen. It always does. Anyway,
yes.
We went to look at places like Santa Monica apartments. You get a 1 or 2 apartment over here for maybe $3,500 a month US. Yeah. And so looking at that, but it just wasn't our jam. We weren't feeling it. And then we went and visited some friends quickly. And then we're walking along. We bump into our friend Troy Casey. He just happens to be in this beautiful spot on the beach. And then I asked him, do you happen to have a place or anyone that's cool looking for, that has a place for a rent for a month. And then he hooked us up with these other guys who happen to be the coach that works with them is the guy that stayed at our Airbnb.
Yeah, full circle.
And they're also digital storytellers, which is one of the things I'm liking the coaching and mentoring, but I'm feeling called to go to the sacred sites around the world and do like a blessing experiment, like where I just put it on Facebook the other day, is like blessing one another and just playing with the energy and frequencies to make this stuff the new normal. So like how to stay in that alignment and live our spiritual path 24/7. And
yeah, love that.
He's talking to my friend the other day. He's just sold his business for millions. So he's kind of, he's doing well in terms of the finances and so forth. And he set his team up in such a way that he doesn't have to have a lot of contact. But we're just talking about him because he's got a similar vision. We're going to catch up when we're back in Byron Bay. And he was the guy I did the session with who just happened to be in town. And it's his birthday today or yesterday. So it was like, he always had that feeling that he'd be a millionaire before he was 30, but he didn't strive for it. Just relaxed and just everything kind of showed up for that. And I don't know, he blessed Christy and I. We went down and we went to the Ritz-Carlton and we had this ridiculous lunch, like a 5-star lunch with champagne and everything. But it's all like local organic food, like all the stuff that we love.
Very cool.
So it's interesting, but you were just saying a second ago how you're going to come to America. You got a 5-year visa, which is fairly unheard of. How did you manage that?
Well, we were doing a research and we basically just said, look, we'll go down the track of we were going to do something very similar. We were going to create a documentary.
Oh,
so
wow.
we were going to get crowdfunding. We were going to go to Sedona and interview some amazing people, that we've had the privilege of meeting over the last number of years, you know, people that are, you know, that have done all their recordings with Nightingale Conant and all those sort of things. And we thought, well, we can go to Seattle, we can go to San Fran, we can go all these sort of places. And then just these little red flags started coming up, you know, from the visa guys asking us, well, why are you there? What is your real intention? You know, and if you're going to do a documentary, you're not allowed to work. And so we found that the obstacle was the language. And like I often sort of say, the human language is at times the least reliable form of communication. So where you come from blessing, where you come from presence, where you come from all these things that you and I both are so congruent with. We sat in with it and we thought, it's not the right time for that. We're just going to be exchanging one capitalist environment to another capitalist environment. And really what we wanted is to come back to our own hearts. And you know, between us, Kirsten and I, we've traveled to, you know, 70 plus countries, and we've lived in, you know, in 8 of them for periods. And we thought, we've never been to Bali. It was all just this rah-rah, you either go there to surf or you go there to party or you go there. Like there was no sacredness about it until this moment. And then we started reading blogs and some other things. And then like you, one thing after another, we saw one guy on Facebook, and through a triangulation, I like to call it, you know, there was a connection, and we booked in and trusted, and then we sold everything, and packed everything in a couple of suitcases, and away we came. And life has never been the same, you know. So you know, our vision at that point was, you know, everyone in the world is our home, and everyone in it is our family. And so we really just wanted to extend and reach out. You know, there's that feminine energy that wants to ground, wants to be secure, wants stability, but there's also that exploration, that masculine exploration that is really starting to bubble up now again, and say, hey, you know, there's so much of the world to see, there's so many people to help, and there's so much impact to co-create. And hence why we're having this discussion, you know, it's nothing's long overdue, it's just all perfectly timed.
Always, man.
Yeah, so this is where we're at, and you know, we're in beautiful Ahmed now. We'd always dreamt of, you know, hilltop, water view, quiet, all that sort of things. But then you start getting those little idiosyncrasies that start to flare up and pop up in your awareness to say, well, it's the small things like the bumps in the road. It's the small things like the Wi-Fi going down. It's the small things, and you say, well, let's not let them get to us, but let's use it as a signal. And a perception that it's a signal of, is it a change? Is it something to realign or reconnect? And that's why we started looking at, what you guys were doing, and where we're going next, and all that sort of stuff.
I've had it with, it's just on that thing, like just while we're chatting about it with the Wi-Fi, this Zoom uses quite a lot of bandwidth, and it's an interesting one to do, because I've had it before where I do, you know, the guys in the group program. It's all done on this platform. And what's really interesting is I had it where you couldn't even use Facebook in my house. That's how bad the internet was. That you couldn't get on email or Facebook or anything, but somehow Zoom worked for the hour.
Yeah, we've found that too. Yeah,
it's weird, hey? Like, it's just, you're like, it's like technically impossible, but it works. And not just...
well, we found it's such a cleaner platform. I mean, we were using some other webinar platform for our guys, and we've been using that for 6 months with a high-level masterclass. And you know, we just noticed just these little glitches, you know, and then as soon as we just tested Zoom about 2 weeks ago, and boom,
it's rad.
Yeah.
But at the end of the call, though, it stopped.
Like, at the end of the call,
it like worked for the hour, and then at the end it wouldn't work. It was just down. It just died. And that's the thing I'm like playing with. Like, I just want to live in serendipity all the time, and it's fun too. I'm just kind of pondering it a bit at the moment, going, "What am I here for?" You know, like I'm sensing some media, and obviously I'm still doing the M55. I'm doing this next one, and I'm sensing more storytelling and filmmaking.
Good.
Just calling
Good.
it.
And so the M55 is that 8 weeks? How long's that?
Yeah, 55 days just sounded cooler than 56.
That's right. That's right. Beautiful, beautiful. And so you're obviously presenting that remotely as well, and people are in the program for that duration to expand and deepen, I guess, at the same time.
It's been fun. I'm even going to adopt dolphins now. Every person that joins M55, there's this Adopt a Dolphin program.
Yeah.
I was thinking about making it like, just like, rather than how much do I want to make each month, I keep thinking about how much do I want to give each month.
Good.
Because giving is receiving, and it's all the one. And just playing in different ones, like just different ways to look at things. But I've been feeling like with all the people in the M55 program, it's like a pot of dolphins.
Absolutely.
I've put on 5 events around the world, and even out of season, the dolphins have turned up. And I don't know what that means, but it's cool. And then there's been dolphins here at Venice and Santa Monica.
Oh, look, it's a huge symbol of consciousness. Dolphins, I don't know whether you watched many movies, but one of them, Lucy, with Scarlett Johansson and Morgan Freeman, just an enormously impactful movie when you reduce down the Hollywood drama and all that sort of action-packed crap. But dolphins can be seen as the epitome of consciousness, as oneness, as unity consciousness, which is, I guess, why we're all here, and people like us that are in the field of creating emergence, creating the uplift for people who are ready. So where do you see yourselves going? Like how long are you there for? Like another month? Are you there for
2 months?
2 months?
Yeah, 2 months here, and then a couple months in Europe.
Yeah.
One of my buddies I've been friends with since I was about 6 months old or a year old. He's getting married in Slovenia.
Yeah.
So we're going to head over there. I'd like to do some media. I've done it previously, but I'd like to do some TV and some other opportunities like that. So just following up a few things like that. I'm doing Mark Bowness's 7-day media challenge and talking to him about his other program and stuff. And just really like his vibe. Like he sends me messages that he just sees straight into me, and he'll send me these messages and makes me cry, man. And I sent one to Nick last night after we saw her talk, and she was just crying with gratitude. That's how I want to communicate. Like the more we can just really see one another,
absolutely,
and care for one another and guide and it's cool. It's fun.
No, that's the thing. It's just the opening of that heart chakra, the opening of that heart space, and allowing life in. That's what you guys are doing. Like we all have these frustrations. We all get the earther kits with life for a moment or a couple of events, and we want to throw all our toys out of the pram and have a hissy fit. But you guys are you're trusting. You just keep going. That's the thing. The vision. What is that vision? It's so expansive, but at the same time, it's so fluid because you're moving, you're rolling with the wave. You're actually creating the wave at the same time.
Yeah, it's fun, right?
It's awesome.
That's what I want to look at in everything we do. Like I said last year, I want to live life as the greatest love story ever told.
Yeah.
And we've won competitions called the greatest love story ever told. And Christy won a competition that's part of Europe called Carla Loves Photography.
Yes, I remember that. Excellent. That was most recently too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's so exciting. Like just those little things. But that's kind of what I see is, just learning that craft of telling stories like we used to, as families around or tribes around the fire, and kind of sharing from that space. Like I just want to have those epic conversations. But I did a Facebook Live the other day, and 2 of the guys that had come through my programs, either some one-on-one or some group stuff. I put a Facebook Live up the other day called Epic Conversations, and 2 of the guys have gotten together and they're already building out a website, and they're going to put on events called Epic Conversations. Like, if we did this, do you think it'd be fun? So I just want to, I love when you see, some of the entrepreneurs that were visionary and then just guided, then would bring things through. Yeah. That's part of what I see. I got a background in recruitment. And when I travel around, I guess I'm always looking at what the opportunities are and bringing people together and so forth. And pollinating projects, and I don't know, we just met the coolest people lately. Like a guy last night, Akira, was really cool, and he's huge in Japan. He's just started doing his first events in Los Angeles. He's about to move to Santa Monica. We're going to catch up. I just caught up with him last night. We're going to catch up again in a week when he gets back from Japan, and he's starting to organize speakers to go over to Japan and so forth. And I'd love to have a chat with him about that. Yeah, absolutely. It's the connection, and that's what most people fail to do, because there's no apathy there. There's just pure fear. If I extend myself, if I get out of
out of my way, then there's a void there. I'm not used to feeling vulnerable, and such a supreme connector as you are as well. It's really, really good.
I just like the idea of if we all hook each other up, life's amazing.
Absolutely. That's the way that it should be.
Yeah, man.
And that's what we love about the culture here too. They're so colloquial in the sense that we've now got some Balinese friends that will go out of their way to do anything for us, and they've immediately, it took less than a day for us to be welcomed into families, to be shown their villages, to be gifted food, and to all these sorts of things. Whereas this typical Western culture, that there is this emergence out of that with the new up and coming, but that gift of spirit, that gift of presence, just showing up as you are and going for it.
Yeah, man. Like big kids, like we're 7. That's what I find.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm just having fun, I feel like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
And when I try and structure everything, which is what I was endeavoring to do, in terms of like all the structured marketing and structured everything, I don't know. I almost feel like I'm back in recruitment in my box. And
yes.
And I guess that's the journey I'm going through at the moment, how to bring all the fields together so that I can be. One of my friends I talked to him a couple of days ago, he just put a team together so he can do all the alchemy stuff and the team do all the work.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what, I've been able to do is I generally have really good people around me. I always have really good people around me.
And it's fantastic. That's the reflection, isn't it?
Just cool though, because someone said it to me a while ago, is what the world lacks is vision. What the world lacks the most is people that can see the future and bring it into the now. And that's why, you see Steve Jobs and Elon Musk, they're bringing the future into it. And that's actually one of the guys I've got the intention to meet over here is Elon Musk.
Yes.
And we'll see what happens there, but it'd be fun.
It would be really fun, really fun. And, these brains are portable. Everyone says, "Oh, I can't be the Steve Jobs, I can't be the Elon." But we're all synchronistically linked. As soon as you have that intention to tap into, that dolphin energy or whatever it is, there's that transmission and that collaboration of energy and mind.
Yeah, man.
And so, love where you guys are at, and there's that hustle, that's spiritual hustle, that energy hustle that's going on inside. So we're thinking. There's change is good, movement's good, adventure's fantastic.
You got your 5-year visa. You could definitely dock over here and play.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to see where you feel called. You love, like, around here is really good. Essalon's another place. San Diego's amazing. Apparently, we're going to go check out there. And
that was my initial hotspot. Oh yeah, Santa Cruz. Yeah, initially it was San Diego. That was before even talking about the States. But yeah, that's. If you guys are on the ground there for a couple of months, I don't know from Europe whether you're going back there or whatever it is, but somewhere, whether we're going this way around the world or you're going that way, there's the opportunity. And we're thinking about just getting a round the world ticket and just picking some hot spots. South America, we really want to get to. We want to get to those ancient sites as well. We want to just tap into culture, and bring back that essence of village unity in that sense.
I like it.
Like with you, I'm sure, with your M55 program, our HLM, we've got over, 35 members now, and the stickiness, and this is what I always talk about with the consciousness is sticky. You start to bring people together, and you start to unpack, and you reveal, and you move through the vulnerability into this heart space. There is an enormous love that people don't often find expressed in their own families or even in their own close relationships. And, one of my early mentors always said, never underestimate the stranger, because you more often than not will have more in common with him or her than you will with anyone closer to you in your family that you've grown up with. And it's so true.
I love my family, but when I said I was going to California on a feeling, I just got to be there. And they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's how I live. If I try and live in a structured way, it's really hard for me. I feel stupid.
Yes.
I literally feel like I go and start a job. First 2 weeks, I'm the best. I'll get promoted to I might get 3 promotions in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably get fired. It's
super compensation theory. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I think it's just that thing. You just got to do what you're here for. And I've kind of known that for a long time. I know what I'm here for, and you got to live it.
Man, it's beautiful. It's really, really good. Really good. So you make me want to get on a plane tomorrow. But it's timing. It's timing. But so you got 2 months there, and then when do you start your M55? Next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
So exciting.
Is that your second one or first one?
Third
one. Yeah, nice one.
So booking more people in, just going through that thing. I've been pretty chilled. I was gonna launch it last week, and then I put it back a week, and that actually worked out perfectly for the people that are involved. So yeah, just actually send out a couple of messages to follow up a couple more people to book them in for that. And
right.
Yeah, it's been interesting too. Like I don't often do one-on-one stuff anymore, but I like to do some energy healing and stuff while I'm here. I've got a guy coming over. He's going to do an energy healing on me tomorrow. He just reached out, and one to connect you in with the grid lines apparently.
That's see, that's where Sedona is coming up on our radar a lot too. Lots of great energy people there, and the mystical is coming back. It's like that. What is it? That crazy new movie, I think, with Adam Sandler or whatever. It's the Ridiculous Six, and he goes, "That's some mystical shit." Just his craziness, but love it, man. Love it. So, do you work one-on-one with people, or do you bring them together in group calls?
Group
or group, yeah.
Yeah. Just do the group. If people require more one-on-one attention, happy to help.
Yeah.
They're paying me really well to do what I do. I'm super grateful for that, and it's cool.
It's excellent.
I keep on doing that a little bit, but I'm feeling called to this filmmaking and storytelling.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna blast out one more big M55. I've actually been, for whatever reason, one of my guys I'm in the group, and one of my guys is in my mentoring group at the moment. He's in this network business called Kayani. It's all like superfoods and stuff, and I got involved in that. They go, "Oh, there's this package, bought the $1,000 one, got a whole lot of superfoods and stuff at my house." It had a cool frequency to it, and it's just after I joined, I got to speak to Bruce Doyle, who's the guy that started Action Coach.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been talking about, and he started with Brad Sugars.
Brad Sugars, yeah.
So we've been talking to each other about doing some products together and just looking at just different collaborations. So it's always just fun just to bounce. I'm liking, I just promoted a product that Nick's doing. I'm liking promoting people's things. I think I'd like to do that, be a bit of an Oprah. And
yeah. You're very good at connecting, and there's your resources right there. You could call them gifts, your soul gifts, your unique talents. You're a connector, you're a talent, a talent seeker. You can see opportunities, and you can see the music between the notes, wherever everyone else is occluded with their vision, looking for big, bright, shiny things. You're going, actually, there's some real great rawness there that you can tap into, or it's that's about to go. And let's get into that. Awesome.
That's cool. Have you met Roger Hamilton yet in Bali?
Not yet. Met him a number of years ago, but there's a couple of people on our program from him as well. But he does great stuff. Yeah. Yeah,
I really love it. I went along to his thing in Bali, and I went along to something else. The reason I mentioned that is just as soon as you made that comment, I remember being at one of his events, and everyone was running around so busy, so hustle, so trying to here's my card, call me next. Here's my card, call me next, Yeah. And I left. I was like, I feel to go and sit by the lake and meditate. It's on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
And then 5 minutes after that, Roger comes out, looks across at me, nods, and he sits down and meditates. And all I know is this. I feel like I have a affinity with the original inhabitants of the lands.
Yeah.
My grandmother was a faith missionary and worked with the original inhabitants and the indigenous. And I always seem to bump into the right people at the right time. But I almost feel like my mission is to remind people that the dream time is real. That if we live in the space and the divine, there's so much is available. But it's always an interesting journey for me too. Like I said, even in the last week, Christy was stressing out all of a sudden because nothing had happened. The next thing, it's like this whole home just self-orchestrates. 24 hours, a place that was empty, fully furnished and done. but beautifully furnished. It's amazing.
Yeah, I saw the video. It's awesome and great share, really good share, because obviously those little mini clips, those little mini stories, those that do have the eyes to see and the ears to hear will see that that's for me too. You know, whereas a lot of people distance themselves to it and say, "Ah, well, I could never do that." Thinking, no, you can. But one thing I do want to, I'm really chuffed to hear you say is about this blessing. Because it's been big on my radar. You know, when we came over here, I started doing a little bit of yoga in this beautiful, you know, little hut right in the middle of the rice fields in Ubud, and people were just coming, all these, and you know, putting the hand on the crown and you know, giving people some blessings. That just continues to open you, but it expands connections and you know, talk about the miraculous or the spontaneous. That's where it's birthed from. Love it. Let's spread it, man.
So yeah, I'm going to call it the Blessing Experiment powered by Barefoot Billionaire. That's the book. That's the book I'm feeling drawn to write. I was hanging out only briefly. I just hung out just for a few minutes with Preston. I thought he was jamming on his book, so I didn't take up too much of his time because I'm going to see him again tonight. But all of a sudden, I just wanted to write a book. Once I was in his space, I'm like, I don't know. I've had people say it before when they hang out with me. All of a sudden, they just want to write books. So just seeing like, how do we open up and be a catalyst for more things in such a way? And I see this blessing experiment as something that it could impact a lot of people.
It's huge. I mean, one thing that is very aligned is mass healing, and that came in at the end of 2012 for me. You know, when it's mass healing. It's not the church anymore. You know, that type of thing, but it's bringing people together to create impact and energetic influence in a room or through transmissions like this, through whatever it is. But having that ability to, which everyone has, to invoke that space of healing, to invoke that space of enlightenment, to invoke that space of joy and abundance.
I love it.
Yeah, it might be worth having a chat about something, hey? Because I think there could be a really good webinar, could be some really good short snippet takeaway type interview things that we could do, because it's the more people that you know that we get in front of, the more people can be helped, the more people the transmission extends. And
I like it because this is what I see, man. Like what I see right now, like we start the blessing experiment, but it also becomes this thing where like literally people are going around to the most amazing places on the planet, you know, powered by the Barefoot Billionaires. Like that just sounds rad. Because I want to like redefine what it means to be a billionaire.
Yes.
So literally looking at it, my friend that owns the Amazonia company, him and I talk about it. And I know another guy, I just thinking of his name, my mates were talking about it too, but essentially looking at a billionaire as someone who impacts billions of lives in a positive way.
Yes.
So rather than just the focus being on the money, being on the impact. And
well, yeah, you're solving billions of problems, billions of tiny problems.
Just bringing the harmony, because I've been doing it like where I sit there. I don't do it now. So sit there like you might with your qigong.
Yes.
And I start to feel. I do it sometimes on my calls where I open up some space where I'll be like, so yeah. And then it's cool for people that can receive it, because then we can tweak things in one another, and it just opens up stuff. And I was curious, like if I'm doing that for 7 or 8 billion people, like if that's just the frequency I'm playing in. Everywhere I go, people feel like they know me. Like I go to Cafe Gratitude, people reach out. Have I seen you before? Like you might have seen me on YouTube, but I'm not. But they're like, we feel a connection. And that's what I'm noticing more and more, is that the more that I do that blessing every day, not just for the people that I know, but that's just going out to the world. Because I tested it with different people where I'd bless someone and then more money would show up for them. Yeah. And bless someone and a relationship would show up. Bless someone and I believe that we all have these spiritual gifts, and the more that we bless one another, you can just change the whole world.
Absolutely. And in blessing another, we're blessing ourselves, but we're also giving, you know, we're also giving gratitude because we're using our gifts. We're using our connective to God source, to universal intelligence, whatever you want to align with it. You know, it's awesome. That's where spontaneous healing comes in. That's where spontaneous events come in. I'd love to do something like that with you. I think the energy, the vibrancy, the groundedness, but also this, you know, I call it the Father Sky, Mother Earth type of energy. You know, at times we can be so Father Sky, so wisdom filled, so expansive, and yet the Mother Earth, the groundedness to be present, to be connected is. But blessing, man, is the funnel all the way through. That's the best marketing funnel ever.
It is, right?
That's awesome.
If we're in that space of blessing 7 billion people in the infinite, we never got to worry about anything. We're always provided for. Our Father will always provide for us. It is that. My friend Richard, you'd love to meet too on your path. He's 60. He looks younger than when I met him 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And he goes around the world using this light technology called Lucia light. And
oh, yes.
Yeah, shine light in your pineal gland. All of a sudden you can actually, we're all been talking about, 5-dimensional dream time and how to bring it into the now. And that's kind of what the experiment's been. Like I was doing it for a while where I'd go into the future, bring things back and receive the gift now.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. The whole, storytelling. That's what I see with the blessing experiment. Like make it a regular thing, make it like going to sacred sites and blessing people, that particular frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Also kind of seeing as it develops, I haven't really figured out how to monetize and everything itself, but I think that still figures itself out if it needs to. And I just love to see that, like just powering these people going, like funding people to go to the most magical places on the earth and bless one another, funding beautiful retreats. Just there's so many people, like the guys that are staying below me right now. I'll send you a link to what they do. It's stupid ridiculous, like the talent that they have.
Yeah.
And they're living off fresh air right now, but they love it because they've turned their hobby into what they're doing. The things they have access to. Like the friend downstairs, Elena, she's literally about to do a project with Goldie Hawn, and it's just all these people we knew about since we were kids.
Yes.
Like all these celebrities or people. Yeah, it's an interesting one, but I definitely feel it's got a good frequency, the blessing experiment. So,
it's fantastic, mate. It really, really is. It's and whether it's donation based or whatever comes from that, it's huge. The ripple effect, and this is what so many people don't understand. But they get a concept, they get a brief understanding and a glimpse through the window when something like this shows up for them. And that's explained to them. That's why I'd love to do some more on this with you, because together there's so much guts and information in there that, for people to understand that as a blessing, you are sending a ripple out of energy. Like if you move outside of time and space, there is you're not in this third dimensional reality, or you're 5 and up, which is instantaneous. It's beyond, a linear equation. And, and we talk often in our program too about, affecting the past and affecting the future through your presence now. And, there's been so many experiments in psychology.
You talk about the past too, hey?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Like dissolving it and actually influencing the change of the past. One of the great experiences with the Ho'oponopo technique, where one Israeli psychologist or doctor, I think, was helping patients with sepsis that were dying decades before. But every morning he used to go through the patient files and do, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you, the Ho'oponopo. And noticed over a period of time, there were two files, one pile, one that he did it on, one that he didn't do it on. And the Ho'oponopo that he did do the group on, he looked back at the statistics, and this is a mind freak, and the healing rate increased from the past.
Yeah, right.
The death rate decreased from sepsis, and the survival rate increased. Like longevity rate. And so that's why I think you can, as this is where mastery, like you're into mastery as well. You go into the past, you go into the future, you're affecting it all through your presence now. And this enormous energy that so many people just, fail to believe exists because of indoctrinations, whether it's geopolitical, whether it's school, whether it's religion, all this sort of dogma. And now this is this awakening. This is the true awakening. As I've said to many of our members, don't wait for 5D. Don't wait for the new heaven and all those sort of things. It's bloody here. It takes you with the eyes to see and loving everything. And what do you want to experience? Choose what you want to experience. It's the biggest smorgasbord that Germany ever put on. Yeah, so Stop saying I only see this, therefore that's all I'm going to get. Open your eyes. And I love what you've said about the 7 billion people. You tap into the Gaia mind, into the unity consciousness of 7 billion plus, and then you can start to look at unity and cosmic consciousness. That's when all this energy starts to magnetize even more, you know. So, man, you got me hooked on that one.
Cool.
So, you know,
let's start now. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's bless. Let's just take like 60 seconds, and we're gonna bless all 7 billion people.
Beautiful. Can feel that.
I want to cry, man.
Talk about entanglement. It's beautiful.
I feel it.
Heats up like a light box. Can feel it.
So good. So this is the thing. So the more we do this more and more, I believe it changes stuff for sure. I've seen those things where, you know, guys will come in and meditate in certain towns and do different things. In terms of, you know, as I move around, that's why I like the dolphins, because they just know where to go. The Aborigines, rather than calling them Aborigines, the Origines.
I love that.
And that's one of the guys was saying to me. I liked it a couple of days ago. They just knew where to go.
Yeah, and the great thing about them as well, they didn't need mobile phones. They tapped into the ether, they tapped into Dreamtime, and they spoke to other villages and other chiefs, and they knew where to meet at the right time, you know, kilometers, many kilometers away. The right time, the right place, right day. It's awesome.
That's how I like living. I love to play with the technology too, because we have all these different avenues. But I go, I'll see you soon. Then I walk into someone, you know, it's been fun. One of the guys I interviewed recently, I had a feeling to call him, and it was actually the day that his grandmother had passed away. And turns out between 100 and 101, which was the same vintage that my grandmother went to, and they had a very similar lineage, very similar mission. And my grandma was rad. You would have loved her. And I still feel her every day. She's amazing. But she had a really close relationship with the Origines.
Yeah.
At her 100th, there was 160 people there. And that had turned people away. There wasn't enough room. More people wanted to come. And she just lived an amazing life. And in her legacy and her vision, I've always just went, well, if I could live a fraction of that, what a life.
Absolutely. You know, and it reminds me of a call I had yesterday with one of our members, and she said, I'm not sure of my why. And I said, reduce it down. She wanted to be Mother Teresa as a very small child. She has such a compassionate space, such service mentality. And I said, I don't know how to word my why. I've had such trauma and such elation and so many major turning points in my life. And I said, your why is not complicated. What is it that you want to do? She says, I want to end suffering. And I said, that's your why. It doesn't matter who you come in contact with. You know, you're lifting this veil of illusion, and you're going, let me help you. Let me help you, you know. And awesome. Bloody awesome. I've got to roll off on another call as well. What time is it there, man? What time is it there?
4 p.m.
4 p.m. So it's 7 a.m. here. So you're 4 p.m. on the day before.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
So we got soon, but it's good to start that blessing experiment. I'll map it out a bit more. Up.
Yeah, do that. Whether it's a weekly or whatever. Yeah, there's so many people. A tribe is easily built off that.
For sure, I feel it, man.
It's awesome. Love your work. Love your work. Man. Love it.
Pleasure.
Big love to both of you. And let's send us a link and let's do it again.
Sounds good, my man. I'll see you soon, hey?
Beautiful. Big love. Big love.
Bye.
Bye, brother.